Hey YouTube, Vice97 here, coming at you with another Bakemonogatari deck profile. This version is red-green, which I have been playing around with recently, and I've been really enjoying it. It's tested really well so far. I've tested it with a lot of games for over 2 weeks or so, and yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot. It has a few differences from, or not just a few, it has quite a few differences between the red, green, blue version. And there are some things about this version compared to the other one that I like and don't like, but I'll explain the pros and cons of this build, either as I go along or just mostly at the end, and give you guys the deck profile first, because that is what this is a deck profile. So yeah. Obviously, for of this Senjo, let me check the camera angle, more like this, I guess. Yeah, we'll go with this. Obviously, for this Senjo, she's 4K by herself and the best level 0 beater for the deck, so we play 4 of it. 2 of this Suicider. There should be 4, but I'm playing these over it because I only own 2 out of the 5 boxes I bought. So, yeah, there's that. But these, I want these to be Suiciders, because the Suicider's not that bad of a Suicider. It's not too special as a Suicider, but then again, Suiciders are just good, so yeah, play 4 of that. And then this card, 4 of this Tsukihi. This card's not too good as a card on its own, but it's needed for this version of the deck. You really need to get this card. This is a card you really want to have in your hand going into level 1. It's 500 in front, and pay 2, rest it, and you can search a character with Koyomi in its name, add it to your hand. I guess it can pay out climaxes, but it's really stock heavy, so you really don't use this effect more than once if you use it once, depending on how your one game's set up, but you just really need that card to set up for your one. And then 2 of this Tsukihi and Karen. You need this not even really for the on-play pay 2 salvage. That effect's good at level 3 if you're desperate for a heal or something like that, but you need her name, again, which I'll explain more when I get into the level 1 game. I pretty much play those for consistency's sake, because you don't want to have a dead level 1. And then 2 Brainstormer. Brainstorming is good. You have to play Brainstorms in your deck. If you get Climax screwed, they're obviously good. And this one's a search, which can help get these, which is, again, quite necessary for the deck to run smoothly. I can't see the angle, it's kind of making me mad. On to level 1, 4 of this Koyomi. This is why you need all of the names, Karen, Tsukihi. It's a 1175, which is the reason, pretty much the reason I switched to this build, is because I got really tired of the blue version's level 1. With assist, lovers usually 6k in that build. That's with assist, so it just, the level 1 is really weak in that deck, so I wanted to play this. This is a 1175, which is really good. However, it does have a downside. If you don't have any Karen or Tsukihis on your field during your stand phase, it doesn't stand, so that's why you have to get one of these preferably, because it gets 500 in front and can search for him. This is the only target for her that I play. I'm sure you could add more if you wanted to. I just didn't want to add anything really. But yeah, so this card's 1175. It's really good. Its downside is kind of heavy, because you can kind of get screwed out of level 1 here or there, and that's one of the downsides of playing this build is it can be screwed up by itself, but I still like it. 2 of this 10 Sudoga that gains 1000 when it's in the center. It's a 106k, so already as powerful as lovers with assists, so yeah, it's just a 10 for the level 1, because I didn't have any other 10s, and that one's good because you don't want to set up too many of him, because if they play bounce, that can also screw up this deck, but I'll explain that at the end of the video too, how that works. So 2 of this Hanekawa. I would be playing 3 if I owned 3, but I only own 2, so I'm only playing 2. And this card, what I like about it in this build compared to the other one, is that this card pretty much helps your lovers stand up to other games level 1s, because it's a 6k before No, it's 6k with assist, and then you can use this effect and make it like 8k. But in this deck, you can pretty much make your Koyomi attacking at like 10-5, and it makes your level 1 like get over a lot of other level 1s rather than just be able to compete with them. So, yeah, it's good. And then 2 of this Hanekawa backup. 1500 backup with experience 5. You can pay 2 to give one of your opponent's characters -1 soul, so it can save your life. You're at like 3-5, they swing for 2 with their last attack, and then you make them swing for 1, and you don't lose, and then you can heal and win. So that's the level 1. On to level 2s, 3 of this Hachikuji. I'm trying this out right now over some other level 2s I could be playing. In my first go around with this deck, I wasn't playing like level 2 beat sticks at all. In fact, I played it more like support the Koyomi even more, but that worked okay. But as you move on later through the game, there's a higher chance that your opponent either triggered a bounce if they run it, or just got over them in general. So I wanted a stronger beat stick, which is this, which if you have 2 or less, or 2 or less, 2 or more other, snail, I'm awful, strange characters, then it gains 1000, so 9k on defense before assist. And it's just a 219k, which is a pretty cheap way to have a beat stick. And I liked it better than the Senjo that gains 1000 per each attacker, because it's weak on defense, and you know, if you can keep a character, then E+, and that's good. So I just like the Hachikuji I'm testing right now. I can switch between either of them, but meh. And then 2 of this level support. With the loss of blue, you lose the Hanekawa support. And the Hanekawa support is good because it makes your level 3 Senjo able to use her effect more optimally, I'll say. And the card is good overall, and that's the one thing about switching to blue that is kind of like a downside, in my opinion. Because this, it's a level assist, so, you know, it can pretty much provide almost the same amount of power, not really. But it's good enough for the power part, but its effect as a level assist in this deck is really horrible, because it's pay 1, tap, give 1000 somewhere, but this card does that for free. So in this deck, it's like the level assist effect is completely trash unless you're paying out climaxes with it before refresh. But so yeah, fills its job as a level assist, and just play that. 1 generic 3k backup, and then I'm testing these out right now, and I've liked them so far. Is 2 of this event stalking. It's a 2-1 event backup. I can select 2 of my characters, and they gain 2000. So I like this card because when it works, it means your opponent's running over 1 character that turn, and that can mean your hand gets bigger because it's you don't have to play as many characters, obviously. And I don't know, there's nothing really I want to play over it. I could find a way to make my level 1 slightly stronger if it does get screwed over. But yeah, if you guys have any like comments on that, you can just leave them down there. I'm liking this card right now, but it's always optimal to change. Optimal, that's not the right word, but I can't think of it right now. It's always apt to change. Whatever, English is hard. So yeah, on to level 3, because that concludes the level 2, and that's 4 of this Suruga Kanbaru. Heals on play, with experience 5, she's 10-5 base, so it's not just a vanilla healer, and it has hand encore, so let's play 4, because heals are good. Most of my decks, my playstyle needs to heal a lot. That's why I like with Shauna that I've been testing recently. Sometimes I don't do that well. I'm not used to playing decks without a lot of heals, so yeah. And now 4 of the best card ever. I mean 3, 2, 1 of the best card ever, because I'm awful. So I played these as Senjo Gahara. Do not play the Nadeko, as she is the only like blue thing in the deck currently if you were to play it just like this. But yeah, out of my 5 boxes, I pulled 1, so I'm proxying those when I've been testing against my friends and whatnot. Because we actually don't have like tournaments, because you know my locals is awful. But yeah, Senjo Gahara is good. She's a healer, and she can help win. She's good. She diminishes their field and can get rid of problem assists. And if your opponent screws up, you can make them lose an attack, which has happened a couple times, which is cool. But honestly, it's just another good healer, so play 8 healers. And then for climaxes, the obvious, gosh, I don't know the camera angle. No, because it's different this time than normal. I guess I set my shoe box up wrong. That'll be fine. So 4 gates, obvious. And then one thing, or one of the things I just enjoy about switching from blue is I no longer have to play +2 soul. I can play these lovely 2k1s. 2k1s are good because, you know, they're not a neg from hand, and they give power. It's good. And +2 soul is awful because it doesn't give, like in the blue version, it doesn't give the lovers any power at all, and they're just sitting there like weaklings. So the combo in lovers is good, and I don't play the combo for this card, but it's just I don't like +2 soul. Oh my gosh, I don't like it. So yeah, that's the Climax lineup. So that was the deck profile. For pros and cons, I kind of explained like some of it. But pretty much, it's the cons I would say is like sometimes if you can get screwed out of a level 1, if you do not get the Karen or Tsukihi, and that can suck really bad. It's only happened to me once out of like 30 games, and it was really awful how it happened because I triggered 3 in a row and was kind of confused, and then I took the next one as clock, so they were all kind of clumped together, so that happened. So happened once, but it's just, and if your opponent plays bounce, then it can kind of screw with your level 1 as well. They'll just become 7/5 walls for a second. But yeah, it's mostly, this deck is played for the English meta as it is an English deck, and at my locals there is more English than Japanese because I pretty much got all the people at my locals into this game, and they refuse to play Japanese decks most of the time, so it really sucks. There's one other guy like has like every Japanese deck, and he's cool, but so yeah, not a lot of the people at my locals are playing bounce, which is probably one of the reasons why this deck has tested so well, but I like it a lot. Hope you guys enjoyed. This was Vice Structure 97. If you have any advice on the deck, please leave a comment below, and yeah, subscribe. This was Vice Structure 97 by YouTube.